Hello, guys. Welcome to Notes from Nobodies. This is Coffee with Evan, but actually it's Electrolytes with Evan this time. So I was watching Corey Kenshin. He's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. Yes, I watch people play video games, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's so much fun. It's like I can multitask and watch someone have like fun at the same time. It's great. It's good content, I say. Check and make sure I don't have anything in my teeth. Yeah, I think it's pretty okay. Can't really tell, but all right. So it's the afternoon. So this is not coffee, but it's electrolytes because I'm gonna probably decoy tonight. I'm gonna be hydrated, so that'll be the in lieu of the coffee. And don't mind my legs. I might crop this so you can't see them, but remove that too. All right. So as you can see, you can't see this wall, but I'll do a quick time lapse so I can talk about the room. So we have the floor to ceiling curtains that we put in, obviously the walls painted, and then these panels behind me, all installed from Home Depot, and then the shelves are also I installed them yesterday. Allie bought these chairs and this table and this little olive tree. So it's starting to come together. And then the last things, I just ordered a little lamp that'll go on this table, maybe some coasters. And then right here is another chair. So when I have guests on, it'll be this beautiful green and canvas looking background for the guests. So I'm excited about it. The only other thing too is that I got to figure out my lighting. This is just an umbrella light that I tend to like, but I don't like it in that position. It just like illuminates everything instead of what I want it to illuminate. So eventually I think what I'll do is some type of I'm going to have maybe a grid light this way. I'll probably need 2 grid lights, but I don't know, that might be overkill for the space. Everything needs to be very compact and like user friendly, if that makes sense, for this design to work, I think. And then obviously we're going to put some books that we like on the walls. We got some over there, but we're working on the collection to actually decorate the bookshelves. So yeah, that's been a little while in the making, but we did it. Got rid of my desk, or actually I put the desk in the garage. I put the desk in the garage because the next project we're going to be doing is going through the garage, organizing it, and turning it into like a client space for Allie's dog training business, which will be fun so that we can this is just a whole bunch of dumb details about my life, but I hope you enjoy it. So the dog food that's in this cabinet over here will all go into like a cabinet that we'll buy so we can like lock it so mice don't get into it and stuff. And then it'll have some AC and just a little AC unit, some rubber flooring, like a gym type flooring, and then everything obviously organized and put away. So that'll be nice and get everything kind of organized here. But yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I'm happy about it. I've got a lot to talk about. I'll try and sum it up. This is just kind of what's happened in the past week or two. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I don't remember when my last video was, but we'll just say we'll start where I think it leaves off. 2 weeks ago, I went to Oregon for an Oregon French ring trial, and that was super fun. Shout out to, I believe they're West Coast Ring Sport. I hope I didn't botch that. But they held a really good event, and what I consider to be like a quality event is it was organized and there was no drama. Everything went very smoothly. No decoys got hurt, so I didn't get hurt. I mean, I got a little close call on my thumb, but I don't really count that as a huge like a bad thing. And then, yeah, so no dogs got hurt, no decoys got hurt, and great weather. Didn't rain. Excuse me. And it was sunny, and yeah, it was a good time. I did end up rolling my ankle on the dog in white, which is basically the first dog to do like the example of what the competitors are going to do on the field, because the order of the events, jumps or whatever, or they're all mixed up and pulled at random. And so yeah, that was not fun, rolling my ankle. Anyways, so dog on white, rolled my ankle, went down to the ground. I can't wait to share photos and video of that, because it felt very silly. It wasn't a fast dog or anything, and I just it was on a flea attack. So what a flea attack is that I'm running away from the dog, and it's supposed to catch me in the back somewhere, so arm or leg or whatever, and it caught me on the right leg, and I think it was was it my left ankle? I think it was my left ankle. Went into a roll. Thankfully, nothing broke or snapped or anything. I think it was just uneven ground. And then, yeah, I went down, and I was like, oh, shoot. Great way to start the day. So, but then the rest of the day was awesome. I definitely have some skills to improve. I got some great tips from the judge and some other key people there, which I really appreciate. But we're just we keep at it, and yeah, it's a good time. And then I just had, so we're skipping around, but we're gonna do chronological order from 2 weeks ago. But just got another, I guess you could say, a request or inquiry to go do another trial in Texas. So that'll be super fun, and that's actually with Nick Games or Games. I'm sorry, Nick. I always forget how to pronounce your name. Who will be the level 2 decoy, so like a more skill level than I am. And yeah, so that'll be in Texas in November, which will be super fun. And for those who don't know, Nick and Nicole, so the decoy, and Nicole, his wife, I just filmed their wedding this past weekend. What's today? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we'll go with that. And I'll talk about that when we get there. So yeah, so we did that. Typically, it was just like a 3-day, 2-night thing. So out, slept, did the trial that Saturday, slept at the Airbnb of that trial. It was super nice. Like, it had a little pond, a little private pond. So we did some fishing and caught some trout and bass, just some little guys. Make sure I'm accurate here. About that big, yeah, little guys, which is super fun. I haven't fished in like forever. And then Sunday had a later flight out, so I went to the airport and kind of just hung out and read my book, and then, which I'll talk about later as well. Well, I'll talk about right now. So I was reading the 2 Hunger Games books that just came out, or like the newer ones, and then finished those. Those were great. The ones about Haymitch, if the fans out there know. I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I do enjoy all the movies and the books. I haven't read all the books, but those books are pretty good. Yeah, that was a sad ending, but it was definitely a good book. And then, so my girlfriend's been reading this series called A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's actually on the bookshelf right now. And, oh no, I'm sorry, not that. That's the next season. That's the thing she's currently reading. It's called Fourth Wing. There we go. And that's the one that I'm reading right now. And it's actually pretty good. Like, I didn't believe her at first. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of like a girl thing, like a book that's meant for the feminine side of human race. But yeah, I mean, just in the first like 2 or 3 chapters, I was like, I'm hooked. This is great. Um, so highly recommend that book. I'm about halfway through, and I mean anything with dragons. I mean you can't beat that. That's so much fun. Um, I won't spoil anything by talking about it, but shout out to that book. Definitely 100% go read. Um, okay, and then so I came back from that one, and then I had a bunch of gigs, just real estate and stuff, editing weddings, total blur. And then that next weekend after that was Nick and Nicole's wedding out in Colorado, which was so much fun. So that was also just like a 2-night weekend trip. So flew out Friday in the morning, and then let's see. Oh my gosh, my memory's so fuzzy, even just from not even that long ago. Hang on. Okay, so flew out. I'm like thinking right now. Flew out. What did I do when I got there? I got my rental car. Oh, and then I went to their property because that's where they had the actual ceremony. Went to the property just to check it out. Said hi to a few friends, and then went up to Breckenridge. So that's like a about 2-hour drive from their property up to Breckenridge, and checked into my hotel. They upgraded me, which was awesome. And then so I have like this whole little suite to myself, which has never happened before. So that was fun. And then immediately when I get there, I just pass out on the bed, and I'd set an alarm for like a timer for 20 minutes. It goes off, I reset it, and I did that like 4 or 5 times. I don't know if it was just travel fatigue or what, but I was so tired. And then after I was like, all right, I got to get up or else I'm not going to sleep the night. And got up, got some pizza in Breckenridge, and stopped by a little cigar shop to check it out. And this is crazy. So there's a tax on all I don't know if it's just tobacco, but like all inhaling substances. So like obviously vape, I don't vape. But like all these different products are 80% taxed in Colorado, which is wild. So everything was like sky high price. And I was chatting with the bartender there. I was like, what is going on? And he's like, yeah, I know, man. He's like, the friggin', he's like, it's the price of gas to fill up my vape. And I was like, that's crazy. So I don't know what Colorado's doing, but I'm not moving there anytime soon. Although I love the views. I can't say that the nature's definitely compelling there. All right. So then we went there, walked around a little bit because my pizza wasn't done yet. A cute little town, definitely a ski town. But it's like on the off season, so there wasn't as many people there, and it was pretty chilly. And then did some like research on some music that night. And then if you follow me on Instagram, you see all my stories. So you probably know this. And then slept, got up at 4 a.m. So this is day 2 of waking up at 4 a.m. It's not even that bad, but for me, it's rough. And then I go up to, I don't remember the trail name off the top of my head, but we went up to a trail that the photographer scouted out for a sunrise session with Nick and Nicole, and there are 4 dogs, 2 puppies, and they're 2 competition dogs right now, Ippo and I don't remember the other one's name. A little Dutchie that's super cute, and then they're 2 Mal puppies. And so we hike up. It was like a probably 20-minute hike up, so pretty easy, I guess you'd say. But we are at like 12,000 feet elevation at that point, and so we just take it like a slow, easy hiking pace. We're not like running up the mountain, even though Nicole definitely probably could do that because she's super conditioned to stuff like that. And then, so then we get to a spot that we decide on. and it's freezing, especially with like the wind chill. So I put on my extra like rain pants, which act as like a windbreaker. My hands are going numb. My nose is going numb. At one point, we just all turn our backs towards the wind and just try and warm up our hands, and that was definitely helped a little bit. And so we took breaks. And then they took off their jackets, which was crazy. And we did some cute things with their dogs and some little shots here and there. That's definitely going to be cute in their film. And then they put the jackets back on and like warm up again. So we did that like 2 or 3 times so that they didn't get just completely frozen. And then they were supposed to bring these collars for the dogs, little flower collars, but then they forgot and they're at the car. So then after we were done with that, I did a little drone footage, which you'll see later. And then as a, establishing shot, then ran back down the mountain, caught up with them. And then we did just like a little, like in the forest shoot where we had like the dog collars with the flowers, and surprisingly they did pretty well with those. I thought they were going to be tearing at them. Eventually they did, but at the beginning it was pretty easy. And then they had me film on their camera a pregnancy announcement, which was super fun to be a part of. And then after that, we're like, okay, cool. We broke and went to our separate ways, got some breakfast and coffee, and then I took a nap. That was awesome. A little car nap, and then headed down the mountain. And I will say, apart from all the good sides of Breckenridge, like it's pretty, it's very a cool touristy, like little shops and things like that. After like, was it after 7 a.m. is when they start charging for parking everywhere. And I think it's 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So thankfully I didn't have to pay for any parking except for the hotel parking. They did charge me like $35, which was kind of like, why didn't you like charge my card before in like the total? Why do you have to like, oh, surprise, like, I think that's, I don't know, just a weird way to work things, especially for how big I think the Marriott, the company is. It's like, why don't you just include all that in the initial quote? And I don't think it wouldn't have deterred me, because if all the other hotels do the same thing, it's just going to be the same price. So, but part of me thinks maybe they don't. Not all the hotels do that. So maybe it is like a strategic, like get you in the door thing, and then we have to charge you this because the city like makes us charge for parking or something like that. Anyways, it was aggravating, and I was like, oh, that's dumb. And then, yeah. So, but other than that, it's pretty. And I bought one of those like little oxygen tanks that I've seen everywhere just to try them out. Doesn't really do anything, but I thought it was funny. It's like a little like oxygen inhaler. Yeah, so after my nap, I drove back down, and then I met up with my second shooter, Nick. And yes, his name is Nick, just like the groom. And then started filming the day. He did some drone stuff. I got establishing details. And they started getting ready, got some getting ready shots, some fun, authentic moments of just them talking. And then after they did like a quick rehearsal, me and Nick split. Nick went with the groomsmen, and I stayed with the bridesmaids and bride, and just hung out until they were ready to get some more stuff. The content creator came, Joey, and then he got some awesome stuff. It's on my Instagram as well. And then ceremony starts. It was cocktail hour, ceremony, and then dinner right after, portrait session, families and portrait session, then the toasts, or dinner, then toasts, and dancing at the end, and a little icy machine, or icy truck, icy slushy. Ooh, I don't even know what that's called. It's like shaved ice. It's a shaved ice truck came as well. And I had I snacked on that while I was eating the ice cream, the shaved ice. Sorry, wait, that was I just totally had a brain fart there. So I was editing a content reel for them for the same, like a little same night recap for them to watch. And also while eating the shaved ice. There we go. That was hard. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. So I skimmed over that really quick because like you'll see the work, and I'm trying to think, okay, well, let me think about if there's anything that was interesting on the day. Well, the photographer forgot to tell me about portrait session. So that was the second time in a row. And the planner also didn't let me know. I get it, guys. It happens. Still love you, but I do think it's common courtesy. And so if you guys are watching this next time, let's let the videographers know what you guys are doing. Because that's the thing. It's like we're like, okay, we got some family. Let's go figure out. We had to figure out the electrical stuff because my second shooter, I asked him to bring some lights, and he brought lights, but he didn't bring the batteries, which is fine. And so we got some extension cords, and that whole process took a little while. So we're like, okay, family stuff always takes longer than expected. So we're like, we got time. And in the timeline itself, it doesn't really even say that like they're going to go out for another portrait session because we had a sunrise session already. But I would have liked to have it on content and on my stuff just as a backup for anything. And I think it's cute for them to wander around the property. It wasn't quite the correct time when they went. Like it wasn't like sunset, which was very odd. It was still very bright outside, but at least I got like, the end 5 or 8 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, I guess you could say, of them wandering around. And I gave them some prompts and things to do. So it was fun though. And they weren't mad about it. Oh, here's one thing. The only thing that they were like, mad about was like some of the family members or friends, I don't know who, showed up to the wedding like an hour late, 45 minutes late. And so this was good planning. They blocked the entrance with a tractor so that when like at the start of ceremony, so that if people were showing up late, they couldn't come and like disrupt the ceremony, which was a very good plan because that's what ended up happening. Is a lot of people showed up at like late for the ceremony, and then make sure we're still recording. Yep. And then right after the ceremony, after like maybe 10 minutes into like the second dinner, I guess, as what it's called for the timeline sake. And then a bunch of people were leaving as well. And so they were like, what the heck? Like these people just came for 15 minutes and then maybe 15, 30 minutes max and then left, which some of them have their reasons, right? They have like someone to take to karate or whatever. But I mean, it is nice to know. It's like, it is nice to know in your RSVP if you are going, be like, hey, because then they won't count you as a seat for the dinner. So then they can make it a little bit more, they can plan accordingly, if that makes sense. So that is also a little common courtesy that people don't take into account. And obviously I've never been on that side of it as a guest, which is kind of wild to me. And I don't know if I'd ever want to actually be part of like in a wedding, the guests, unless I guess if it was like a close friend or a family member, then I would understand. But still, I don't know. I feel like I have to have a job at weddings. Okay. I think that kind of covers it for that. Oh, and then right after the wedding, or not, the day after their wedding, I came back for a morning session, a day after session, which is so much fun. That since they met in French ring, which is the sport I do for decoying, they all got together since they had a lot of friends in French ring as well, and they all trained together the morning after at 10 a.m. So I got over there after a little coffee and breakfast, and just filmed with them for like 2 hours, and didn't even have to recharge my batteries or anything. I just freaking went, and it was very laid back and just having fun with them. And then after that, I left to go get some lunch with Alyssa and Bradley, which is one of my featured films on my website, which they are the best couple. I love them so much. They have like such a deep and meaningful story. And actually, Nick saw their wedding film and like was almost brought to tears with their story and how compelling it was and how it was told, and hopefully by my work as well, right? And so I told him that I was like, they were kind of the reason I was there again filming because of their film. And so that was really cool. So it was a little Mexican restaurant in Golden, and they brought their golden retriever, which is funny. Little play on little, well, I don't know. I don't know if you call it, whatever you call it, fate. I don't think that's the right term. So they brought their golden to Golden, or their golden retriever to Golden. And then, so that's fun because in their wedding film, she surprised him with an alpaca because I think he just really likes alpacas. And then he surprised her for like a wedding gift with a golden retriever puppy. And the puppy wasn't born yet, but he did a lot of research into like the breedings. And so he reserved one of their puppies. So he showed like a little picture of the mom and dad, and then when their due date is, which I thought was super sweet and very meaningful. And so I got to meet the puppy, which is super cute. Got a selfie. I took some professional video of him. His name's Arlo. And then I want to edit together like a little, almost like 1 year later, here's the puppy, like the before mentioned puppy, here he is now type of thing, which would be super fun. And then they created an Instagram for him as well, which I thought was hilarious and totally fits. It fits the vibe. They already have like almost 300 followers. Whatever. Hang on, let me look. Let me shout out that. I'm going to shout it out. Oh my gosh, people are blowing me up with real estate stuff. Hang on, guys. I got to look at Arlo the puppy. Let's see what it's called. Arlo. Here we go. Oh my gosh. So he's got 229 followers and 12 posts. So it's Arlo's Golden Tails. So this podcast is sponsored by Arlo's Golden Tails, and you can go check him out on Instagram and see him grow into a full golden retriever dog, which is super fun. And you guys will see that also on my Instagram, the little video that I'll create for them. Okay. And then went back to their property because I forgot my jacket, which like a dummy, and then grabbed that really quick and then headed to the airport and just hung out there until my flight. And the flight was delayed because the plane was coming from Puerto Rico or something. And then I got home super late. So, but very exciting. There is one update that if you've come this far into the podcast, you deserve to know. I'm being very strict now with the travel fees, and I require the travel fees plus retainer up front, or depending on what package, minimum the 50% retainer up front, so that I can pay for travel and secure that immediately. Because I've been doing like not promotions, but like as a little like wedding gift, I guess you could say. Like, hey, I don't charge travel, and that was just to be able to go out more and get these amazing, shots and views and stuff like that. And now that I have a few, and I have one more lined up in in California, on the beach. I'm starting to reel it back a little bit, and I'm going to be charging for travel. So if you have your spot reserved, you guys are the lucky ones. Coming around for this next fall season, and then into 2026, it'll be a little extra. And typically it's not that much, and I do have obviously payment options. And of course, you can also lower the price of everything if you're flying in videographer and photographer, and you book both with us, with me. Then you'll have us as your photo video, and you get a little discount. And so that's a way to kind of counterbalance the cost of the trip as well. Because typically, off the top of my head, in between $1,000 to $2,000 is like the trip fees, and you'll save about $1,000 to you'll save $1,000 or more depending on your package, which could offset the cost of the travel fee as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then obviously that's for more like out of state, like a few days type of things. Out of country is more like in between $2,000 and $3,000. Again, it fluctuates depending on the price of travel and tickets. But that is, it just makes more business sense now to make this little change. So yeah. And I think I've already talked about all the changes to I did. Okay. That's on a previous podcast. You should go check it out if you want to have a deep dive into my pricing sheet. All right. We're in 31 minutes. I can't believe we've done this so long. This is the gift of gab. That's a good podcast name. Okay. And then, all right, so we did that, and then we came back, and I did like 3 Graystar properties for real estate. And then today was my first day with time to edit. And so I got a post on Instagram. I edited, I culled through a whole film, and then I did a multicam edit and exported a multicam edit and a little interview so that I'm ready to put all that together. And then I texted one of my other clients to get their adventure session and in-home session on the calendar so I can finish their film as well. Because I feel like at a certain point in like editing my couple's films, if they have things scheduled that we haven't done yet, I really want to see that, like, I want all the assets. I want all the video and audio together so that I can, because if there's one thing said, it might change the whole trajectory of the film, in my opinion. So it's, I asked some questions during the in-home session, and they like really get into this deep conversation that's meaningful. I'm going to put that at the front of the film. I'm going to put that in the middle. I'm going to drip it through. It might relate to some of the other things that are said in the speeches. Maybe, some reflection stuff on their day, you know what I mean? So like, that's the hard thing with, like, I'd like to do everything beforehand so that I have all the assets so that I can just edit right through. And I don't feel like I feel annoying sometimes, and I don't want to be, where it's like, I don't want to be like, yo, hey, I'm sure you're super busy with life, but like, let's do your session so we can like get this stuff out. So yeah. So it's hard because it's like they're in my editing queue, but there's only so much I can do before I'm like, I got to stop so I can do all the rest of the stuff. So, yeah. So I've been working on Abby and Nick's a little bit more. And then I need to get out some more stuff for Nick and Nicole's for like content and a little trailer and stuff. Today was the first time using the carousel, little video carousel, which I've been kind of digging. I'm a late adopter. I feel like it's been out for a couple months now, but I do think it's a little trendy and I like it, but it keeps the integrity of the work, I think. And it's not like it's apparent, like I can use trendy music without apparently like corrupting the art of it. So it's like, it's meant to be like, yeah, this is just a post. Like this is just to show off some coloring and some cute shots. It's not like I'm editing to the music of Ariana Grande or whatever's popular. And obviously that you can't do that because of copyright issues. So that's a whole nother thing we'll talk about on another day, I think. Copyright. I'll have to write that down. So, wow, I totally lost my train of thought. So let's go to a couple of my notes here I had for the week, and then we'll end it. All right. This is okay. So this is super silly, but I've watched all the episodes of Handmaid's Tale up until the last one, and I'm still probably going to watch it, but I will say, like, holy shit, it went downhill so fast. Like, night and day difference from the previous series to this, not series, the previous season to this season. I don't know if it's just the passion for the project is down, like it's just gone, or like I don't know what happened, but the acting feels very telenovela-y, and um, I mean, obviously she had a kid, but like her face is filled out and just doesn't. She doesn't seem like the right actor for the role anymore. And not just based on appearances, but like mainly based on acting. Like I'm sure she could have. I'm sure she could have done it better. And maybe that I don't know. Maybe I'm not in the editing room, so I understand there's things that you have to cut. Maybe it was supposed to be like a, you know, a 30 episode series. I doubt it, but it felt rushed and like they're just trying to pump out dialogue. There's dialogue that just really didn't need to be in there. I mean, who am I to judge? I haven't made a series yet. I'm sure I will eventually, but just from a viewer's perspective and not just a cinematics perspective, it was pretty bad writing, if I do say so myself. I feel like ChatGPT wrote that series. All right, anyways, that's all I had to say about that. We already talked about decoying the trial in Oregon. We'll talk about that another day. We did the podcast studio update. Oh, this is kind of fun. So I got rid of the desk, right? Well, we still have it, but Allie's probably going to use it in the garage for her clients. But I still like to go from like sitting to standing. So I've been editing a lot here and at the table in the kitchen table. But I'm thinking about putting up like a standing desk at the perfect height, so I'll measure everything. And it's just on Amazon, but something that folds to the wall, so it just like is really slim when you're not using it, and then it also doesn't really collect too much dust because it's vertical, and then you can just pop it up and work a little bit while standing. Because I do miss the whole workflow of being able to stand, work, sit, and go to like my different spots throughout the day. And I don't know what it is about it, but I feel more productive when I'm able to like change my surroundings a little bit, even though it's just in the same home here. And I've been going back and forth between like wanting a monitor and not wanting a monitor. Like being able to look straight ahead at your screen, way better for your neck, obviously. But like the whole having to have like a cord, and maybe there's a way eventually, that I invest and I have like, I don't know, a way to do it where everything's hidden and very clean. But that's the goal here, is to keep everything very clean and minimal. And something that doesn't really look cluttery. So for now, I'm just going to keep my laptop screen and hope for the best. Hopefully maybe like I'll just look down with my eyes like this instead of like down at the screen like this. I don't know. We'll see. But that might be exciting to do. I like doing little projects. If you didn't notice, I like to make things and install things. It's very fun for me. We already talked the garage plans. Hey, look at this. I did all that without notes. That's pretty impressive. All right, let's talk about it. The price of dumping is ridiculous. So we did, and we're not talking about that dumping. We're talking about project dumping. And so we got concrete runs in the dog runs out back. And I was like, hey, when you guys are doing that, would you mind? I'll pay like $500 extra. You want to scrape the whole run since you have the equipment with you and just pile it up in like a certain pile, right? And they're like, yeah, no problem. So they do it, and it's a lot of dirt, and it's like old horse shit and dirt because it was previously a horse like area, or pens, I guess you could say. And yeah, so pile it up. It was like 10 feet by 10 feet by like 4 feet high, and not including the grass that was we dug up as well because we were trying to make it square, like the grass is perfectly square in the back. And then I had a guy come out and give me a quote, and he's like, typically I would charge you guys like make sure I have battery, like four grand or so, or like 4,500, something like that. And I was like, whoa, that's ridiculous for hauling trash. Like, just it's dirt and rock to the landfill. It's like, don't they need that stuff anyways to like cover up the other shit? So that was an eye opener of how much that costs. And then I didn't like negotiate, but I had a different quote from a guy that it was just a rough quote. So I gave him that, and then he was able to do it for like 2 grand or something like that. And super grateful for that. Shout out to you, dude. I gave him a review. Can't remember his name right now. And so I'm glad that we were able to do it for basically half or more than half the price. But then when they came and did it, like I understand because it took them basically all day. Like it took them 7 hours, maybe 8 hours to clear all of that dirt. And it was like 4 trips to the dump, which I'm sure could be streamlined if they had a bigger trailer or like something dropped off, like an industrial dump thing. And I'm sure that would cost way more. But it really opened my eyes to like the cost of things. Like even the cleanup for the projects that you do has a cost unless you're willing to do it yourself, which is still an investment because you have to buy the trailer and you don't have a truck, you know what I mean? So it would be absolutely in chaos and so expensive. But so we're trying to limit the amount of stuff we do now for not only that reason, I mean, just for our sanity's sake of just like kind of wrapping things up and not having to be a construction zone all the time. But yeah, so that was very interesting, very very eye opening. Wish it wasn't that way, but it be that way. It is a need, and that man is a businessman, and that's what he does for a living. So, Arizona's hot as fuck right now, and this is my last note. I don't even know why I wrote it down. This is like my little journal of thoughts, just random thoughts. But it feels like every year, it's around the same temperature every year, but like every year it surprises me of how freaking hot it gets. And it sounds like I'm complaining, but like you film in it for a little bit, the camera's on fire, like the top handle, because I have like a metal top handle for, I should probably do wood or something eventually. I don't know. But it's like, it's hot to the touch. Like you can't hold it for more than like a little bit, or like you do the thing where you really grip it and then all the heat transfers to your hand and then it's like it's fine to hold now, but like it hurts for the first few seconds. So yeah, filming in the summertime outside, pretty crazy, and I'm really glad that my cameras stand up to the heat and they have really powerful fans. But I can foresee overheating in the future at some point, especially if it's like filming a long thing outside and it doesn't have any shade. I might actually buy more of those umbrellas that I got for the Alaska shoot. That's actually really smart. If I have any summer things, which I try to not only avoid, but a lot of people try to avoid doing summer weddings here down in the valley because it's so freaking hot. But putting a little umbrella on it and then just angling it so it gives it some needed shade, and just keep the sun off it so it doesn't bake and overheat is a genius idea. Note to self, Evan, buy some more little umbrellas for your cameras. All right. I hope it's still focused on my face. That'd be hilarious if this whole thing was blurry. I'm going to post it anyway. Okay, that was all my random thoughts. Thank you guys so much for listening to my podcast. I hope you enjoyed. I feel like this one was very energized. So if you're on 2x speed and you're like, holy shit, take it off, it's too fast, I apologize for that. Definitely listen to this one at a 1.5 or 1x speed at normal speed. But I'll do a little intro really quick so I can post it at the beginning. Hey guys, thanks. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. You guys are going to have to suffer through me with this one. Oh, yeah. Hello, guys. Welcome to Notes from Nobodies. This is Coffee with Evan, but actually it's Electrolytes with Evan this time. So that's it. I effed that up. Let's get into it. Do you guys think I should do like a little song intro or something that I keep pretty consistent? Or is that lame and I should just go right into it every time? Let me know. I'm going to have some guests on the podcast soon. I believe my brother's definitely going to be joining me on one of these because we have a grand old time. And then Jimmy, one of my second shooters / lead shooters that I like to use all the time, he's coming on the podcast at some point too. And then I'm going to start reaching out. There's a realtor that I really want, one of my realtors, and a few other people that I'm going to introduce to the Notes from Nobodies podcast. Again, thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you on the next one.